Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. I am super excited that you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. Y'all, it is Black Music Month and the celebration continues right here on Check the Rhymes. Yes, you know how much I love Black music and Black Music Month, so we're gonna celebrate all year round, actually. Anyway, we are talking about the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame. It was founded to honor women whose body of work represents the best of the best in music on June 25th of this year. So joining me today to talk about this amazing event is the founder and the executive producer, Janice McLean DeLoatch, and one of the honorees, Tawatha Agee. Y'all, you know her. Juicy fruit. I'm not gonna sing, but you don't want to miss today's interview, so stay tuned. Janice, welcome to Check the Rhymes. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
So I'm super excited about the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame. Tell me, how did you even come up with this idea?
I really just believe that God gives you, he gives all of us our own little things. And that was the one he sent my way. And because he also knew that I would do it. And I think that's really where it comes.
Yeah. So were you seeing kind of that some people weren't being recognized and you thought that they should be? Is that kind of where, like, how did you pick the honorees that are being honored this first year?
Well, some of the names were nominations, and basically the group, we sat together and we looked at the names and we looked at what they had done in their careers, the period of time that they had, contributed music to the world. And then we also looked at, had they been nominated before? Now Valerie Simpson has actually been nominated for the Songwriters Hall of Fame and has actually even received one as a team of Ashford and Simpson, but the other ones, no.
Wow. And they've got some like long receipts and like amazing contributions, like amazing bodies of work. Why do you think that it seems like a lot of times women are getting overlooked? Why is that?
Do you want me to give you the real answer, or do you want me to give you?
No, give me the real.
I feel like, and in all honesty, I don't feel like this was an intentional occurrence that happened. I feel like when you have men that create things and you have other men that nominate other men for things, it's just a logical, it's just a natural pattern for them. I don't think that they really said, oh, let me go out and get a woman. They just probably never really thought about it like that. And then there are those occasions where the women, their names do come up, and then they are honored and nominated. And it's mostly because they have done twice the work of their counterparts. So, I mean, how can you not acknowledge that in some cases? In fact, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Stevie Nicks has been nominated twice. Which puzzles me. Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I thought had been already inducted into some of these organizations, and they haven't been. And I'm like, what is going on?
Right. And then so I'll just give you some facts. When you look at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and again, this is not to take anything from the Songwriters Hall of Fame, because I feel like the work that they've done, in fact, they stepped up to even do it in the first place, is wonderful. But in 2021, when you have the women songwriters, and I mean, people are just over the moon about this right now. And they are super excited, men and women, because we understand the importance and the value of the body of work of these women.
Right.
And so when you look at the creation of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, which is in 1969 by Johnny Mercer, and when you look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which came out around the same time. And I'll even tie this together for you in conjunction with the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame, our first inaugural event, which is happening on Friday, June 25th at the National Women's Museum of the Arts in Washington, D.C. That museum was created in 1970 by Wilhelmina Holiday Cole because she was an artist and couldn't find anywhere to show her work.
Wow.
Which is interesting. And that was founded in 1970. Now, that's how I arrived at, the research and the background on these other entities, because so I've written a book and I'm a songwriter, but I also have a radio show on Radio One Network. And it's just part of the research that I've done over the years. And so when you look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has 1,000 members, and 88 are women, and 2 are Black women.
Wait, 2 out of, oh, wow.
2. And then, so you go to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and out of 400 and something members, 800 and something members, same thing, 77 women, 2 are minorities. One of which is Valerie Simpson, who was actually not nominated, as, like I said, as part of Ashford and Simpson. Now, Mariah Carey, and I say this a lot, Mariah Carey's been singing for 30 years.
Yeah.
Has 8 #1 songs that she has written.
Right.
One she co-wrote with Boyz II Men that was #1 on the charts for almost 8 weeks, tied with Elvis Presley. Is not in the Songwriters Hall of Fame until 2020.
Wow. Yeah.
I have my suspicions about why that happened, but anyway.
Right. And then she's got that everybody's favorite Christmas song, like that she wrote. Yeah. This is unbelievable. It really is. So what do you hope that, what is your vision for the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame? What is your vision?
So my mission is to elevate, celebrate, and let people understand the legacy that these women have created. In fact, I probably shouldn't tell you this because you'd have to actually be at the event. I hope you will come. Is one of the things that we're doing is we're talking about, because Klymaxx and the Go-Go's are also some of our honorees, right? And when we looked at the history of women band leaders, you have Louis Armstrong, whose sister was a band leader and wrote some of his music. You have Vanessa Calloway, who was Cap Calloway's sister. Wow. And she also was a band leader and had written music for him. But we don't know those names.
Right. And this is the first time I'm hearing these names when you're telling me. Yeah.
And so Linda Perry, oh my gosh, there's so many, Dolly Parton. You know, Whitney Houston's "I'll Always Love You" was written by Dolly Parton. Yeah. Who's actually only been nominated once. So, so how much more do they really need to do? Cher, Celine Dion, I mean, Tanya Tucker, Missy Elliott.
Right.
Who, by the way, just got nominated in 2019.
Right.
By, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I find funny because she's not a rock and roll artist. She's a hip hop artist.
Right.
So there is a lot of work to be done, but to answer your question, where I see this going is to fight for equity for women songwriters, women who are composers, engineers, studio musicians, and then also let's even go when we're talking about label heads.
Yes.
There are 3 women that I found research on who have actually run record labels, and they've run them for other people, and they don't own any of them. And that's Sylvia Rones, Sylvia Moy, and Johnny Walker, whom I know very well.
Yeah.
So, clearly when you think about the music industry as a whole, which has been around since the 1800s, and we're now in 2021, you have 3 women who've run studio labels. You have 77 women who are honorees out of 1,000 or 88 out of 800.
Right.
And you look at the number of hits and records that they've produced and created. So where do we go next? They need to get paid. First of all, they should be paid what their counterparts have been paid and are being paid. And, I hear that I'm messing up the boys' network.
Good for you. Yeah.
So it's good for us.
Yeah.
And so again, that was not my agenda. That was not my plan. It was not my intention. But we have been left out on all levels.
Right.
When you're thinking about, and we could really do this in all industries, but music specifically,
yes,
it's horrible. It's a travesty.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about on almost every single level. And when you see, so we will create workshops, we will create scholarships. As a matter of fact, Dawnn Lewis, who is one of our honorees this year, is giving out 3 $2,000 scholarships to high school girls who want to pursue a career in music as a composer or songwriter.
That's awesome.
Around the country. And so we will open doors for new girls. We will help make sure the ones that have been around for a while get what they're due. Right. We will create new avenues and revenue streams for women, like all of the streaming services. They're not owned by any women. Right. They're not even owned by many minorities. So the goal here is to celebrate, elevate, and make sure that, you know, equity and pay are right in line, but also, you know, have conversations with the other people who have been doing this for a while and push for diversity and inclusion for women. And so we're not male bashing. We just want inclusivity. That's it.
Welcome to Check the Rhymes. How are you?
I am great and so happy to be here.
I'm super excited that you're here. And we're talking about a special event that you're being honored at.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Yes. The Women Songwriters Hall of Fame, June the 25th in Washington, D.C. I'm so excited to be doing it. It's the first time I've ever been honored, and the other people that are being honored are so, you know, they're up there for me. You know what I mean? You got Roberta Flack and Valerie Simpson and Klymaxx and Deniece Williams and some and other women that we'll discuss, I'm sure, before this is over. But it's like all the women that I look up to, you know, and just to be part of that is amazing. You know, it's just an amazing thing.
Well, congratulations to all of you, because that is a huge honor. And tell me, when you got the call that you were being honored, what was your reaction?
First of all, I thought it was, you know, somebody just playing on the phone. It's like, get out of here. Because, you know, I've never received any type of an award. And it's like, well, yeah, this is true. This is going to happen in June. And, you know, we want you to, you're a recipient, and we want you to, you know, come down and it's like, oh my God, okay, I'll do that. I can do that. Let me get a flower. I want to get more flowers as I go, but most people get their flowers when they're gone. And so to be able to just receive recognition of the work that you've done is such an honor to me. And I really appreciate that.
And I love that, because I actually spoke with Angie Stone a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about how a lot of times women aren't being recognized in this industry, you know, and how she was talking about how she had never even been invited to the Grammys, never invited to a lot of different award shows, but her contribution to music is huge. So I wonder, you know, is that, or if you know, if this is why something like this was created?
I'm almost certain that it was, because, you know, we get left out of a lot of things. And so it's like, okay, but you know, you're doing your thing, you know, you're doing your thing, you know, you're doing your grind, you know, you're doing your best, you know, you're doing good work. People know your music. And you don't know half the people that are being nominated in those other, I'll say other organizations. You know, one or two, but it's like, who's that? I never heard of them. But, you know, that's them, and now this is us. And I appreciate that we have something of our own. So I don't worry about not receiving any kind of accolades from them. It's like, can I get this from my own people? And that's more important to me. Right. Yeah. So
are you aware of how you all were chosen for this?
I don't know how that happened. I have to ask Janice DeLoatch that. I have to ask her, you know, how did you select? Because there are a lot of people to choose from, but this is the inaugural event. So I'm sure plenty of our sisters will be, added to the list. And I'm just looking forward. I'm honored to be in the first batch, but I'm looking forward to the subsequent award ceremonies, because there are a lot of women that should be honored, a lot of names that people don't know. And, you know, it's a lot of people that you hear every day and you don't even know you're hearing every day. So, you know, this is a good thing.
Right. And I love it. Now, I was saying in my intro that I recorded before we hopped on here is that you have a long CVS list of receipts. You know how they're little receipts?
Yes, I do. You know what? Since I have so many until I have to put them in a folder and I have to look at them occasionally so I can remember. Because, I started working and singing a long time ago. Right. And so, things add up. And after a while, it's like, oh my God, I can't. And then you try to choose like a percentage of that. And then you remember, oh, I forgot such and such. I forgot such and such. So,
So, which made me want to know, like, out of your list of receipts, what would be the biggest highlight, like, of something that you wrote, since we're talking about the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame, out of all the things that you wrote, is there one favorite song?
Absolutely. And it's called Two Hearts. And it was performed by Stephanie Mills and Teddy Pendergrass.
I love that song.
And that was like my first baby. I call them my songs my babies. That was my first baby. And they did such an amazing job. And it's so great to hear something that you've done on the air or to see them perform it. I had the opportunity to hear Stephanie perform that because she was in my town, and we went to see her perform, and she sang the song, and I cried like a baby. Oh. It's like, and because I want to turn around and say, I wrote that song, but you can't do that.
Right.
So I knew in my heart, it's like, oh my God, this is great. This is really great.
Did you write the song with her and Teddy in mind, or was it?
Oh, no. You see, I'm with a group called Mtume, and they had a production company called Mtume Lucas Productions, from James Mtume and Reggie Lucas, and everybody in the band had opportunities to submit material for their projects, and my song got selected for the Stephanie Mills project. So it's like, oh, this is going to be great. Stephanie Mills is going to do my song. Yeah. And then it turned into a duet with Teddy Pendergrass, who was like the biggest heartthrob at that time.
Right.
And so it's like, and they did such an amazing job. And it's like, oh, this is wonderful.
Since it's Black Music Month, it's one of my favorite months just to really amplify Black music. Why do you think celebrating Black music? I mean, I feel like we should be doing it all year round, but why do you think
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So it just happens to be February, or it just happens to be June. But it's like, I celebrate Black music all the time. I'm always listening. I listen to music constantly. And so I try to keep up with who's doing what, or who's the latest, or what's the new Bruno Mars thing, or whatever. And so it's like, for me, Black Music Month is all year round. It's like Black History Month is all year for me. It's not delegated to 30 days or 28 days. So Black music we are Black music. And Black music is everything to me. So it's Black music all the time. It's like blackity black, black, black. I mean,
Love it.
as the kids say, but no, Black music all the time. And for us to have a specific month to be honored is a wonderful thing. But personally, I salute Black artists all year long.
Okay, same. But I was excited that this event is actually happening in Black Music Month.
In Black Music, right? Yeah. Towards the end of the end, yes.
June 25th.
June 25th, yes.
Is there any song, like, if you think about, like, even with the other honorees or just in general, is there any song that you're like, I wish I had written that one?
Well, I'm a big fan of Valerie Simpson, so anything that she's written, I wish that I could have done. I'm a huge fan of Valerie Simpson, so, and always have been. And anything that she's written, especially her solo work, which was before it was Ashford and Simpson.
Right.
Anything that she's written, I love. She's one of my idols. She's one of my idols.
Have you met her before?
Yes, I have. And then, when you meet somebody that you really admire and you can't say anything.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like, oh, hi, Miss Simpson. And then I saw her again at a party for Cissy Houston. And Cissy Houston is the mother of Whitney Houston, and who is the godmother of the background singers.
Right.
Cissy was one of the first. And Valerie was at the party, and I got a picture taken with her, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I got a picture.
I love that. Yeah. So what are the top 3 songs written by women And it could be from the honorees, it could be from your own
right.
discography that you really listened to, especially during this pandemic.
You know, that's interesting that you asked. During this pandemic, I started listening to a lot of old school things. Because, you had time, and then it's like, I would be on social media and somebody has music as background on one of their posts. And it's like, oh, do